That's good.
So 5 times
1037 times 3 negative 124 equals row column. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, plus 2 times 0 is negative 3. Row column. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. 0 times 4 is just 1. Row column. 9 plus 14, which should be 23. Row column. Negative 3 plus 28 is 25.
the first one, so 9. And then plus 1.
Oh, I went across.
9 minus 2. 3 times negative 3 is going to be negative 9. Negative 9 minus 6 is negative 2. 9 times 6.
I've got 3 here, multiplying by 2 numbers here. That's a problem. I'm missing a number. Since it didn't work, I write no solution, and I'm done. Life is good.
So 5 times 6 is 30, right? Yeah.
Need something to multiply by. So here we go. The top has a perfectly valid explanation for what I want you to do, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. Instead, I've got a matrix A that looks like this. I got a matrix B that looks like this. Multiply those together, please. Now, go. That's a positive 2, not a negative 2. School. Do it. Mr. Miranda, what did I get? What happened? Ms. Miranda, what happened? Stay the same. In multiplication land, we multiply by 1, and we get the same thing, right? This is equivalent to multiply by 1. We call this the identity matrix. With me so far? Sebastian, you multiply something by 1001. Life is good. You know what it's going to be, right? Now, the next set of instructions are bad. It says, what about a 3 by 3? Hypothesize what the inverse. Cross out the word inverse. I don't know. I crossed that up. That should be identity. So hypothesize what the identity matrix for a 3 by 3 matrix would be. So given that that's a 2 by 2, can you guess what the 3 by 3 would look like? Okay. Every guess one? And then what I want you to do, I want you to multiply it by that matrix on the bottom and see if you guessed right. If you didn't, we'll find somebody who did. Everybody figure out what the identity matrix would look like. Go. It's not on the back. It's not on the back.
1, 0, 0. Zero, zero, three? Is that no.
Mr. Tong, you got it? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I figured it
Mr. Tong, what's the identity matrix for a 3x3? 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. That is the identity matrix for a 3x3 matrix. Guess what a 4x4 would look like? Or a 5x5 or a 7x7. A bunch of ones in a diagonal line. Agreed? All right. Now, before you flip this over, I have a problem for us to play with. If that's 1, what if I were to take a matrix, say A, B, C, D, and multiply it by another matrix? Let's call it W, X, Y, Z, and we get the matrix, the identity matrix. What would that make this? What would that make that? It would make it the same number. We'd make it what we call the inverse, wouldn't we? It's a multiplicative inverse, right? So in other words, if I took 7 times another number, let's call it X, and I got 1, what's that other number? It's the inverse, is it not? So X would be, the inverse would be 1/7, right? We'd flip it, right? Now, for reasons I will get to in just a little bit, we need to be able to flip a matrix. Oh, Lord. Oh, that can't be good. So, for reasons I gotta get into, I gotta be able to figure out what the inverse is. And that's gonna be awful. Yeah. Miss Miranda! Knowing that the inverse looks like this, how would I go about it? I don't even know. Well, I've got it set up. I'm ready to go. I'm multiplying by the inverse, right? To get my 1. So I'm going to have to do this inverse thing, right? So all I have to do is matrix multiply. Is that okay with you? Now, I'm not going to make you do this, but I want you to watch me do it. Can you do that? I know we're getting tired. There's a quicker way to do this inverse thing, but I want to show it to you once the nasty way. You with me? I don't even know if this is going to work. Never tried it before. Didn't used to teach matrices at this level. So AW plus BX. No, I'm doing that wrong already. AW plus BY, right? That'll be the top one. Okay. And then this one here would be AX plus what am I doing? AX plus BZ. And then I'd have CW plus DY. Agreed? Yeah. And then here I'd have CX plus DZ. And that would have to equal 1 0 0 1. And I could even, if I wanted to, figure out part of this, couldn't I? I got AW plus BY equals 1, right? And I got AX plus BZ equals 0, don't I? And I have CW plus DY equals 0. And I have CX plus DZ equals 1. Agreed? Now, you guys all know how to do this, right? How would you go about doing this if you really, 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 really wanted to? You'd isolate a variable, and then you'd start plugging it in. Do you want me to show you the answer? You want me to do it? Show you the answer. Show you the answer. Want me to show you the answer? You want me to do it? Great.
Do it.
Show you the answer or want me to do it?
Do it.
Really?
Yeah.
The first class ever where somebody wanted me to do it.
Is there an easier way?
That's what I'm saying. You want me to show you the answer? You want me to do it?
Can you just do the, is there an easier?
Yes, there is. That's the point.
Can you just do the easier?
Let's do it the easier way then.
There you go.
Are you agreement? You can do it this way, right? Couldn't you?
Sure. I don't know.
Okay. That's what I want. So, here's how you would do it. I'm going to give you an inverse matrix, and here it is. I'm going to give you A, B, C, and D. Are you ready? And then here is the way it's going to work. Here's the way it's going to work. You're going to go 1 over the determinant. Uh-oh. Do you remember the determinant? It's back.
How do we do that again? Cross.
Yeah.
What? No. Stop.
Times, and you'll find it up there. The matrix is written up there. It is. What they do to it, they do D. This should be A. This should be negative B. And that should be negative C. Check me and see if I'm wrong because I can't find it on my paper. I think that's right. A couple months since I last taught it. Okay?
So if I just remember that.
If you remember that, you don't have to do it with 4 equations, 4 notes,
So I
which
just
would be
do
silly
like
talk.
4.
So, let me do the first one for you. Ready? First one there is 24, 12, 8, 4. I want to write the inverse for a reason we'll get to later. What do I do?
So 4.
It would be 1 over 24 times 4 minus, oh God, tell me if we don't have the 8, hold on, 96, 96. This is the world's worst case.
Couldn't you just
If it exists.
4 negative
Oh, we don't want to do number 1. We want to do number 2. Let's do number 2 because it's a better case. Okay, all right, I'll do number 1 since I volunteered to do it. Let me do number 1. It's lame. Brace for impact. I apologize.
12 times 8.
Minus 12 times 8, right? Going the other way. Times flippy, I got 4. I got negative 12. I got negative 8. And then I got positive 24. I flip these two and make minus signs for the other two. Okay? That's how I find the inverse. Now, why is this one lame? Who's got why it's lame?
It's 1 over 0.
This becomes 1 over 0, which means the inverse does not exist. My apologies. My bad. So far, so good? Okay, so let me do the next one because I robbed you already and I'm at 13 minutes and I'm going to run out of time, so I got to do this really fast. Here we go. 26, negative 8, 4, negative 9. This does not look like it's going to do the same thing, although it looks like the numbers are really large and I have trouble doing this. So it's 1 over 26 times negative 9 minus negative 8 times 4. Here comes my matrix. Flip the negative 9 into 26. Change the sign of this. Change the sign of that. And I got my matrix back here.
Oh.
Okay? So then I'm going to go like this. 1 over, this is awful. 260 minus 26 would be,
Wait, why did you flip it? Wait.
because that's what we do.
Shouldn't it be negative? So
dA,
it's going to be negative 202.
that's negative 202? No, it can't be.
26 times negative 9 is negative 234.
You're right. I'm wrong.
Minus
You're right. Okay, and then this becomes negative 9, 8, negative 4, 26. And then what do? Distribute that back in, and I get negative 9 over negative 202, which is a positive. I get negative 4 over 101. I get negative 2. Nope, I get a positive there. I get a positive 2 over 101. And I get a 13 over negative 101. So that would be my final matrix right there.